over Carmelo Anthony?
Easy. Blasphemy.
I'm going with Oklahoma City as the #1 threat to the Golden State Warriors.
What is Carmelo Anthony right now?
Washed.
Carmelo Anthony looks done. You give the impression that all that has mattered is your money.
How will CP3 and Carmelo work together in Houston?
Melo and CP3 are incredibly tight.
Should Melo be starting? Should he be coming off the bench?
He should be starting. He's Carmelo Anthony. I'd like to preface my comments by saying that I'm uncomfortable with this subject. Melo, meaning Carmelo Anthony, not only didn't speak up nearly as much as he should have, but never demanded a trade, and as a result of that gave the impression that his lifestyle and his association with the New York Knicks were far more important to him than winning a championship. And if this is indeed his last day in a New York Knicks uniform, his last day with the New York Knicks, unfortunately because of Phil Jackson, that is the way that he's going to be remembered more than anything else. Carmelo Anthony is finally in a position where he's going to be able to legitimately compete for a championship. Not to say that the Golden State Warriors are still not the favorites, because they are. But if there is somebody that's nipping and tucking at their heels, it is definitely the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Or even coming off the bench. And the second question is...
Who, me?
Oh.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
He is not the guy, Max, that can take you there. But if
he might push you over the top.
If he's there, you understand, and you got other pieces, and you go like this. All right, dude's palms getting sweaty, backside's getting a little bit tight. I don't know how everybody else is doing it. Melo's like, give me the ball. Then you talk about, now just mind you got other 4 guys around him, Robertson, Adams, George, and Westbrook. You ain't asking him to play with so much defense. What you're asking Melo to do is, here's the ball. Oh, Lord have mercy. I can't wait to see him in that position.
You think these guys are buying in?
I just think we want to win. And I think when you win, you know that you have to buy in.
14 players better than Carmelo Anthony? Somebody needs to be drug tested immediately. Immediately.
Yeah, you're the one who needs to be drug tested immediately. In fact, there's a very good argument that Carmelo is top 5 in the NBA.
Thank you.
His position, because there are 4 dudes at his position that I would take in a heartbeat over Carmelo. We got LeBron, we got Anthony, we got Ant, we got Kevin Durant, Steph Curry.
I'm saying he's top
Russell
10.
Westbrook.
Go ahead, keep going.
Blake Griffin.
No.
You take Carmelo over Blake Griffin?
Excuse me.
You're the one,
No, I would not take Carmelo.
Man, I wish you were a GM and I was negotiating.
I would not take Carmelo over Blake Griffin because Blake Griffin is younger.
Who's a better basketball player?
Melo.
No.
Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin. Let me ask you a question. Come postseason time. Who do you want? You want Blake Griffin or you want Melo?
Blake Griffin.
You want Blake Griffin over Carmelo Anthony?
Easy. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to you right now.
I felt like I lost it a little bit in New York, and I was fighting an uphill battle, and I was trying to find motivation on a day-to-day basis, and dealing with so much and still having to go out there and compete at a high level night in and night out. Here is just, I accept the burden, I embrace the burden, but also it's joy.
With Russell Westbrook and Paul George as your teammate, regardless of what problems exist around y'all, I need Carmelo Anthony to step it up. I need Carmelo Anthony to remind the world what a big-time basketball player he is. Because in the end, we know what Paul George can do. We know what Russell Westbrook can do. People have been questioning Carmelo entirely too much, and he needs to do something about that sooner than later.
It's a rough stretch for myself personally. Probably the roughest that I've had throughout my career, but it's something that you got to continue going for. You got to continue, working at it. You got to continue playing. You got to continue taking the shots that you normally take, that you know you can make, and just being confident.
Of course, I got to give some culpability to Carmelo Anthony. He's older. He is slower. Even though he can get his own shot against anybody and he could be a scoring machine on any particular night, the fact of the matter is that he needs to hold the ball and do what he does in order to get it off, because just scoring within the flow and fluidity of the offense ain't necessarily his strength. Last year, Russell Westbrook had no help. At this point, they were 12-8, not 8-12.
I will always be kind of part of this culture here. And for me, it's different than any other basketball player that comes through here that play with the Knicks, because is deeper than basketball when it comes to me.
New York Knicks fans, unlike the fans in Indianapolis who were booing Paul George because he wanted to leave, remember, in the end, with Carmelo Anthony, it was just time, and everybody knew that. Carmelo Anthony was the hard-headed individual that never wanted to leave New York. He always wanted to stay. If he had had his druthers, he would have retired as a New York Knickerbocker. He did not want to leave, and New Yorkers are going to remember that.
Having fun yet in that new role?
Yeah, I mean, once you accept something, regardless of what it is, I think you become comfortable with it. I think you start putting your all into it. You start working, on that role and on that acceptance, and it becomes fun.
Carmelo Anthony does want to win. It's not like he doesn't care about winning, but he wants to shoot the rock. He didn't wake up yesterday and say, well, you know what? I'm 33 years old. Father Time has kicked in. Y'all go ahead and shoot. He might not mind that on a particular night, Max. But ain't no way in hell that's a regular thing with Carmelo Anthony. You can scratch that dream. I promise you. That ain't him. You can scratch that.
Being willing to sacrifice, not every night. I have to score 20 or 30 points, and I'm good with that. It's a good feeling as long as we're winning.
I'm waiting for the moment where Carmelo Anthony is given the ball at crunch time in a postseason game with a playoff or a series or a championship on the line, because I believe he has the kind of heart that will show up. But the reality is that he's had to take a relegated role with Oklahoma City. It has been an adjustment for him. It's been an adjustment for Billy Donovan. You have a potpourri of issues that they have to address. There's no question about it.
I'm realizing this is what it's going to be. These are the type of shots I'm going to get. This is the type of offense we're going to be running, and accepting that and working on that role.
But I'm equally as sad about Carmelo Anthony. I cannot believe what I am seeing. He looks bad. He looks, just like he's incapable of doing much. The Carmelo Anthony that I know would be like, give me the damn ball. If I can't do anything else, I can score. Let me stop this bleeder right now. Give me the rock and call it a day. I didn't see that dude. I saw a dude that was 0 for 6 from three-point range. I saw a dude that significantly lacked in terms of his level of offensive aggression. And yet, once again, I've seen yet another dude get in his face. The level of respect that cats usually had for Carmelo Anthony seems to have evaporated.
Carmelo Anthony now, interestingly, has checked into the game. It's critical here, right? Carmelo Anthony to inbound to the Thunder. Into Adams. Now here he comes around Paul George. Got Gobert up in the air, didn't get the foul call. Oh boy. It appears now that the OK3 season is over. Utah advances to take on Houston.
They gave the ball to Melo. The Carmelo Anthony, ISO player extraordinaire, we know what he brings. Threw it back out so he could go and set a pick for Jeremy Grant. I couldn't believe it. That's not the Melo I know. Something is not right. I don't know whether it's Father Time, whether it's him emotionally or something, but I did not see Carmelo Anthony at all in these playoffs. And now in his 15-year career, 9 times he's been eliminated in the first round.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say.
We're out the playoffs. We're not playing them. It's just some things that we all, as a team, as individuals, as an organization, have to just evaluate and how we want to move forward.
Oklahoma City will work with Carmelo Anthony and his agent over the course of this summer to try to figure out how they will exit this one-year relationship.
You give the impression that all that has mattered is your money. Now what happens? Then people gonna piggyback. And what do I constantly tell y'all? The big three was never supposed to be LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh in Miami. It was supposed to be LeBron, D. Wade, and Melo. But Melo wanted to take the 5 years instead of the 3 years because he wanted the $80 million guaranteed at the time from Denver. Then you have an opportunity to be a free agent again because you ruined your chance to be a free agent in 2010. You forced yourself out of Denver. You didn't want to wait, so they had to give up a lot to get you in New York. And then you got your money then. And then now here you are in OKC, more of your money. He gives the impression, or has given the impression, of course it's about your money. It should be about your money too. But you cannot allow, you have to guard against the impression that that's all it's about.
Let me address that.
And that is why I can't stand when he gives haters this kind of ammunition to get at him.
The role they're going to ask of Melo in Houston is not much different than Oklahoma City. The biggest difference will be his closeness with Chris Paul. There will be a lot on those two together to make this work.
Where are you going to? Houston. As great and mercurial and fantastic as Russell Westbrook is, James Harden's a little bit different. CP3 is a lot different. And when we talk about facilitating things in such a fashion that makes guys look better, I definitely think playing with CP3, one of the great point guards this game has ever seen, I definitely think that is a step in the right direction. I predict that Carmelo Anthony not only will have a better year, but he'll certainly be an upgrade offensively from what Trevor Ariza was. And I am so sick and tired of everybody disrespecting my man Carmelo Anthony. Is he what he used to be? No. Does he need to be in better shape? Yes. If you've got teammates like CP3, like James Harden, on the court with you, okay? Who, by the way, and we keep bringing up CP3 as a point guard. James Harden, hold on. James Harden, the scorer is one thing. You ever see James Harden play point? When he plays point, and he decides to distribute the basketball, this brother's special at that as well. So I'm not sleeping on Melo.
Should Melo be starting? Should he be coming off the bench?
He should be starting. He's Carmelo Anthony. And the reality is that even though I say that, I recognize the fact that he's not what he used to be. My reason for supporting Carmelo Anthony in Houston is because of what I think CP3 will do for him. The only other time in Carmelo Anthony's career that he has played with a credible point guard was Chauncey Billups. They went to the conference finals. Now, granted, that was years ago. And we all know that Carmelo Anthony isn't the same player. But the flip side to it, at 6'8", 240, who has range, who can shoot. You're talking about the combination of that with the league MVP and James Harden, who's a bad somebody. We'll see what happens. But I don't think they're going to be any worse as a team.